if I die today, I want somebody to look back at me and say, what legacy did Kenny leave? Yes, we all want money. We all want to be financially well off. Okay, but what happens if the click of a switch, then that goes away? What are you going to fall apart? Are people going to just remember you from what you leave in your bank account? Or are they going to remember the deeds that you've done and the things that you've done for other people?
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Two Lit Chicks. It's your girl Fern, and I'm here with my partner,
Alicia Makaye.
and we are in for a great conversation. I am so excited. Y'all know I'm hand flux, so I'm like, woo, got Kenny on the show.
Yes.
Today we have Kenny Claytor, and let me tell you, what I love about Kenny is he's got so many multi-dimensions to him. First and foremost, he's a faith-based leader. He's a servant leader. He is a father, a husband. He's got a gorgeous family, wife and 3 kids. But I know Kenny, as I was thinking about this conversation, I said, how long have I known Kenny?
2008, 2009.
Okay, I don't know. Were you at W3R Consulting or Tech Systems? I couldn't remember where I met you, which organization.
I was at Tech first when I first met you.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, without further ado, we are bringing to the stage a man who is phenomenal. He is a servant leader. He is a veteran. He is a tech sales executive, and he runs a cute little, it's not even a podcast. I don't know what this is. I think it's just a newsletter.
Yeah, it's just
Penny's Corner, and he talks about the greatness. And what I loved about this, and I was doing my little research, it's what you do in the dark and how you earn the light. So we're going to talk about all those things. Kenny Claytor, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kenny,
Thank you.
welcome. So tell us about yourself. Tell us what you're into, what you're doing these days. What's the day job? What's the wife you got you doing? All the things.
Well, I can't even follow up behind that intro, Fern. I mean, that intro right there. But thank you. First, thank you guys for having me on the show. I'm a dad. First, let me back that up. I am a husband first. Loving father, 3 beautiful kids, 2 girls and a boy. My oldest daughter is 25. My son just turned 22. And my youngest baby, I tease her and call her, she's my deployment baby. She's 20. And she's my last one in school. She's down at LSU. Like you said, I'm retired military, 23 years. I've been in IT staffing and sales, 20 plus years now. I work for a company called Transferable Group. They're based out of Atlanta, and I'm here I manage the Dallas side of things.
Awesome. So 23 years, let's just stop there. We have 2 veterans on this call. Alicia also served in the armed forces, and so she served in the Air Force. So thank you both for your service.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you, Kenny. What branch?
Army.
I gotta ask what branch.
Yeah, I was 11 Bravo. I was 11 Bravo.
Is that Army?
Yeah, that's Army. Yeah, I was infantry.
Okay.
Yeah, I was infantry.
Okay.
So I thought you were still in the Army. I thought you were doing the reserves or something. Did I get that wrong? Because you said retired 23 years. I thought you were still actively engaged.
I am done. I am done. Look, Sophia made sure of that.
Okay.
August 11th, 2011.
Oh, you have a date. Okay. Yeah. August 8/11, 2011. So, so, while I know you can't get into detail about everything you did in your deployments, but I think it's really kind of cool that in the Army, if I'm not mistaken, you are a sharpshooter.
Yes.
So talk to me about how do you can you share with me how do you mature into that type of role?
Yeah, you had, well, a lot of different ways. I grew up hunting anyway.
Okay.
So that part, I was already familiar with that. And then while I was funny enough, I wasn't even in an infantry unit when I first went in the military. I was in an engineering unit, and I was out at Fort Leonard Wood. And I left Fort Leonard Wood, changed my MOS, went to 11 Bravo school, and then the rest is history from there. And I just kind of fell in love with it from that point.
Interesting. I have a fear of guns. How about you, Alicia?
No, not really. You know, when you go in the military, that's one of the first things they train you to do is how to use a gun. I don't like to
Yeah.
tell people that I know how to use like a M16. Uh,
You still
I don't
remember?
like,
You still do you remember for real? You still remember? You still
yes,
remember?
I remember too much. Yeah, I do. And so I never want that side of the story to ever surface because I can see the headlines now. So never
Yeah,
mind
I,
about the
I hear you.
M16.
But you know what? When people say, Fern, that they're afraid of guns, you can actually cock a gun. I've done gun safety and taught people about how safety and what guns to use. That's the first thing that somebody always says. Hey, well, if I'm in a house, should I use this kind of gun? Well, if you're going to use that kind of gun, you're probably in a family environment, neighborhood where houses are around you. That's probably not the best weapon you want to select. And I think it's education, like with anything, right? If you have weapons in your home, my kids grew up around weapons. I mean, now I've left them out all all their lives. There's no curiosity. Nobody's taking anything out. Now, granted, as they've gotten older and I've gotten older and got more, I lock them up just in case. But I think it comes from in anything. If you educate somebody on something, knowledge is power.
I agree. So what he's saying, folks, indirectly is get myself knowledgeable on guns so that I would fear it, right?
That's right.
No,
Yeah.
I have a quote here. Ignorance makes you a tool to be used. Knowledge makes you a weapon to be feared. So if
That's
I
right.
get more knowledge about guns, then I won't fear it, right? So
That's right.
that, I need to drink my own medicine.
And that's with anything. I mean, that's with anything.
Yeah. So Alicia, I know you've got a killer question
Uh
queued up.
oh.
Uh-oh,
Yeah,
you,
I do. Kenny, oh my goodness, Kenny. So you transitioned from the US Army into corporate leadership and to entrepreneurship. Oh my goodness, what a broad career. And speak to our target audience with all of these transitions. What are maybe two or three of the top skills that you needed in order to transition between all just that's a lot going on. So that tells me you have breadth and depth in your career.
I would say the biggest thing and the number one thing for me, you have to always stay motivated. Always.
mm,
That because everything else comes behind that. And I'm going to apologize now if you just heard a dog bark. My dog is barking in the background, so I'm going to apologize right now.
no, but let's build on that. So I agree, staying motivated, but there's so much going on. And sometimes I found it's been hard to stay motivated. I mean, let's just think about, let's not even talk about what's happening in our environment from our administration perspective, because that could definitely be a demotivator. But if you're in a career, because we have a lot of younger generation folks, and they're just starting out,
Yep.
and they've got a 4-year education. Some of them did internship. I have one young lady I've been mentoring. She has a 4-year college degree. She is certified, I would call up the wazoo, and I told her certifications in cybersecurity, but she can't get a job and she's losing motivation. So how do you, what would you tell folks about how to stay motivated?
I think the biggest thing too you have to have because it's easy. So it's funny. I did a video on this a while back, and it's easy to say, like we just said, that you're motivated, right? But what happens when you're not motivated? I think you have to have the right people around you, and I call it my starting five, right? And my number one is going to be my Lord and Savior, and then my number two is going to be my wife, and then I have a friend group around me that I'm like, okay, I'm just not, I don't feel it. Everybody keeps telling me to hang in there and stay motivated. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but nothing is going the way I wanted to go. What am I doing wrong? And I think if you have people to kind of help when you get derailed, because a lot of people don't like to tell you when they go, they like to see the shiny stuff now, all the newness that you have now. But sometimes they don't know what you went through to get to the point where you are. And I think you have to have the right support system around you to keep you motivated yourself. Because it's easy to be it's easy to say that you want to be self-motivated until you have to put that coat on and wear it yourself. I'm like, ooh, wait a minute. It's okay to mentor and tell other people that. But now that I have to wear it, I'm like, okay, well, I got to practice what I preach. It doesn't feel too good.
Mhm.
So when it doesn't feel good, you have to have people to hold you accountable and lift you up.
Would you say that starting five is similar to like your board of directors, your personal board of directors?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Only thing you don't lose any shares or stocks in the company.
So, Kenny, what started first? Was it the military, the corporate, or the entrepreneurship? Like, what did you kick off with first?
So I've always had that hustle mentality because I grew up in Washington D.C. The hustle capital in my mind, it's the hustle capital of the world. And so that drive and that determination has always been there, even as a teenager, while I was working in school and doing whatever else. And then the military came around because my grandfather was in the military, and I said, you know what? I'm trying to see. So originally, I only went in to do my initial 4 years initially. But then I got in, I liked it. I'm like, okay, well, I could parlay this and use it and do different stuff. So I got my education, I got certifications, and then I got into IT while I was still in the military. And then I transitioned that into getting contractor jobs in between. And then I transitioned that into moving into that's how I got into sales. Actually, accidentally slipped and fell into sales. That is not what I set out to say. Hey, I want to be a salesperson and sell IT staffing and services. Didn't happen. I was still active duty. I was worked at, but I was National Guard at the time, and I was in Maryland. I was working for a company called Constellation Energy, and I was a contractor for Tech Systems. And we got relocated because of my wife. She was working. I think it was Bell Atlantic then, and then they transitioned to Verizon. We came to Texas. That's how we came to Texas. And then Tech Systems said, "Hey, we like what you're doing for us as a contractor. Would you want to do that full time and come on board with us?" I'm like, "And do what?" He said, "Be a salesperson." I'm like, "Selling what?" He said, "People and services." I'm like, "Hey, I know nothing about that." But they said that the factor that I had is that I could come in, had an IT background, and I wasn't afraid to talk to anybody, not one person. So, and I said I didn't have anything to lose. So I gave it a shot, and I wound up being halfway good at it, and it's done really well. It's been a blessing. Yep.
So what transferable skill? I mean, that speaks to me a ton of transferable skills from military to IT work to sales. What would you say are the top three or four transferable skills? Because a lot of times folks can't see that, right? They can't see like,
Mhm.
wow, did all this in the army, right? And I can really lift that and then apply that to an IT role, or I could lift that and apply that to an entrepreneur role. So are there a couple of key transferable skills that you say shaped how you are, what you're doing today, or that have kind of just been that constant, like, hey, I've always been a great planner, or hey, I've always been able to talk to everybody. What's your what's your top three transferable skills?
Well, I am so glad Mrs. Claytor is not on this call because she would probably tell you my number one trait is being OCD, and I like
Okay.
order, and I think the military they give you that structure and the order. And granted, everybody does not have it. Just because you're in the military does not mean that you're going to have order and discipline. But I think with me growing up as an only child and then growing up with so many women in my family, that was a constant for me. Everything had to be in order. My room had to be a certain way. And I kind of took that into the military. And then the military just made it worse. So I think if you're disciplined, yeah, they just sharpened everything I had. I think discipline is key in anything that you do. And you have to find stuff that's even in my corporate day job, I relate everything that I've done in sales to something relatable in the military because it's when you look at what we did in the military, it's the same thing that people do in corporate America, not just sales. It's the same exact thing. You just have to figure out from a discipline standpoint, okay, where does this fit in? How do I transition these two? Okay, this is where they intercept right here. This is the bridge to connect everything that I do. And I use that as my bridge every single time. In anything.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I think I talk about transferable skills all the time, and especially as people are making pivots in their career
Mhm.
or they're coming back into the workforce. And a lot of women take time while they're raising their children. And then when they come back in, they feel, what's transferable from what I did 10 years ago or 15 years ago? But they're really
Fern,
lying.
also the other thing too that I think people in any industry totally forget, because everything now is so transactional, right? And when I first started talking to you, for example, I was trying to get in to Pepsi.
Mhm.
I never got into Pepsi, right? But you and I became really good friends. And I think that's the piece that people forget. And you have to remember that just because somebody can't do something for you right then at that moment doesn't mean that that person can't be a resource for you in a different way. It may not be in a monetary way. It may come back to you as a blessing that somebody else in your family that they can use for something else, or they could bless you in a totally different way. It doesn't have to be in a monetary from a monetary standpoint. And I think that's what we get confused about relationships. It's the difference between having an associate and having relationships.
That transactional versus relational
Yeah.
is so important. And especially as you mature up in any organization, yeah, we'll expect the transactions to happen, but if you don't have good, effective relationships,
Yeah.
they'll never happen,
Yeah.
or or it might be a one and done. They
That's
won't,
it.
re-engage with you for an ongoing relationship to come back to. So I think that's really important.
And that's what, well, when you look at Kenny's Corner and Anatomy of the Hustle, right? So Anatomy of the Hustle is really something that Sophie and I kind of created. And that's a platform where I'm storytelling. And I saw something that was missing and from sales. And I'm like, when you see companies and they bring coaches in, the coaches talk and they're training you, yet they're going through all this stuff, but you never really hear anybody talk about, okay, well, how do I build my brand? How do I go to the next level? Yes, I want to get the company to the next level, but what happens if I'm expendable and the company decides to do what they did to some of these NFL players and basketball players and trade me to another team? Okay, I have to know how to brand my own self. And that's what I want to be able to do with that. But Kenny's Corner I kind of rolled the two into one. Kenny's Corner came from, I started doing Thursday Thoughts with our team. And every Thursday I would take a quote that I'd heard from that we used in the military, and I revamp it so it goes with either sales or the industry that we're in. And then Kenny's Corner came about the name. One of my coworkers like, hey, welcome back to Kenny's Corner. I'm like, ooh, it's got a ring to it. I like that. So that's where the name. Yeah. So one of my coworkers gave me the name, and then I started doing something that I saw that was missing on LinkedIn and social media in general, because you don't have anybody getting on doing what I'm doing. You see people getting on talking about their companies, talking about AI, and talking about different things, but you never hear anybody talking from a general standpoint and telling you a short story and something that'll make you go, So that's why I like doing Kenny's Corner.
So what are you going to do what's next for Kenny's Corner?
You know what? It's funny you say that. Sophie just asked me that a couple weeks ago. And I think it's whatever direction God wants it to go in, that's what I'm gonna do. And if it's only meant to, I'll give you a short example. I had a guy that saw one of my videos where I talked about being in the darkness and the light. I didn't want to get too spiritual because how things are now. So I said, hey, when you're in the light, when you're in the dark, sometimes you think, I was giving examples of being in the dark. Nobody likes being in the dark, even as a kid. If you're the boogeyman, everybody heard about the boogeyman and knocking on the mirror, the 3 times on the mirror, everybody knows that. But I said, sometimes you have to sit and let your eyes adjust. And when your eyes start to adjust, you can actually see. And sometimes when you're in those dark spots, whether it's personal or at work, because you're going to have dark spots wherever you are, you have to be able to sit there for a second and relax, and you will see the light, and it'll be a glimmer. And so he DM'd me, and he said, I saved his life. And I'm like,
Oh,
what?
wow.
I'm like, because he was in a really bad situation at work. He had worked at this company for 20 years. The company decided to get rid of him. And of course, you can imagine how that made him feel. So when he saw my video, he was touched and he reached out. That's what I want to be able to do. If my videos can help somebody, or even the short stories that I put out there, if it can help somebody, not even in work, because work comes and goes in your personal life. That's all. I just want to tell a story from life experiences. Tell a story. That's all.
Now, where do we find Kenny's Corner at?
The name Kenny's Corner. Oh, you mean location wise?
Location.
So it is. I do it on every Thursday on LinkedIn, but then I also do Real Talk in Kenny's Corner on my Instagram page. I mean, not Instagram. What's the other one? TikTok, and that's on Certified Hubs. Yep, that's on Certified Hubs.
What's certified hubs? I never heard of that.
Yeah, that's so Sophie took our main. So again, like I have my own marketing team right behind me. So since our network is so big on TikTok, on our family TikTok, Sophie said, "Hey, you need to take what you're putting on LinkedIn, and you never know who you can help on social media. So I'm gonna create you a separate page just for you to do your stuff." So
Okay.
that's what I started doing. Yeah.
Okay. So certified hubs is a platform? Am I stuck here?
It's on
Okay.
TikTok. Yeah, it's just on
Oh,
TikTok.
okay. It's a platform within TikTok.
Yeah, platform. Yeah.
So we're not avid TikTok users.
It's up good.
No, and then Kenny, we don't want to talk about how the U.S. government took over TikTok and they just came out new terms of service. That it
Yes.
is very interesting, these terms of service that they just rolled out.
I don't use it
So,
that much either, to be honest. But like I said, I have a whole team behind me. Like my oldest daughter's in marketing. My wife does it for a living. I'm like, hey, help me do this. So that is not the stuff you see. That is not me doing that.
It's your team, but your team
Yes, my
represents
team.
your team represents
It is
you.
Kenny's
So
team.
you may not
I
have your
mean,
hands on the keyboard, but it's your brand.
That's it. That's it. And that's really what I'm trying to do now. Just be able to give awareness. If I die today, I want somebody to look back at me and say, what legacy did Kenny leave? What's important to me? Yes, we all want money. We all want to be financially well off. Okay, well, what happens if the click of a switch, then that goes away? What are you going to fall apart? Are people going to just remember you from what you leave in your bank account? Or are they going to remember the deeds that you've done and the things that you've done for other people? And that's
mhm.
kind of what my goal right now. It's really, it's wide open. Kenny's Corner and Anatomy of the Hustle is wide open right now. And the easiest way for me to explain it, I am being myself, and I'm being my authentic self, which you don't see, in my opinion, you don't see a lot of people doing that. Um, they try to fit into a particular group of people that they want to attract. And my thing is I can attract anybody. So there's nothing different between you or me. You either going to listen to me or you're not. And that's the way I look at it. Yep.
Okay. Well, I wanted to just say that you have a heart for service and a heart for giving back, which is at the core of what Alicia and I are trying to do as we reach out to this next generation who are in tech. So, with that in mind, if
Mhm.
you were to think back to your younger 25-year-old, so let's go back 5 years because we know you only,
Right. I'm only 25 right now. Yeah.
okay. So just
Because all
go
is
back.
great. I'm just 25, right?
Right. Let's go back 5 years. You're
Okay.
entering tech. What would you focus on mastering first if you were a newbie in tech today,
If you were
based on
new,
what you know?
based on
Yeah.
what I know right now, newly going into tech right now, I would find one thing and master that one thing really well.
Mm.
If it's AI and you want to master AI, okay, master that. Get your hands on that one thing and learn it really well. And then always keep yourself updated with courses and information that's going on out there. And it's so much stuff available to you now that you don't have to pay for, that back 5 years ago that you had to pay for. Internet is your best friend.
All right. So Alicia's going to pivot us.
You're gonna be okay. Get
Yeah, so
ready.
I want to talk about, your sales, because basically, okay, we're talking to young people.
Mhm.
They, I see a lot of resumes come across my desk. People LinkedIn me, they send me resumes, and I've looked at a lot of resumes. But and also you're in this profession, you look at a lot of resumes.
A lot.
What are some key characteristics that you have noticed that you can find in a resume, especially for younger people who are putting those resumes together, that you want to share with the audience?
I think so if you have I'm gonna use my youngest daughter, for example. She's just really getting into the job market. So she's had to put a resume together and she doesn't have a lot of work history, right? So I say, hey, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take your resume and we're gonna put your skills, the things that we know that you can do really well. So that's going to attract somebody that's when they're looking, they can see the top things that you know really well. And then you start expounding on all your information behind that. A lot of times I've seen resumes nowadays, they're so wordy with so much tech and so much this and so by the time you read all that, you're like, I don't even want to look at that resume. So you need to be able to if you have a lot of skills, condense those skills because somebody's attention span is only about 15 to 30 seconds, to be honest. And if you're a hiring manager and you're looking at a resume, you're like, you know what? That is way too much information for me to read right now in a 5-page resume when all you need to do is summarize your resume and have your key points at the top. So when somebody sees your resume, it actually kind of flows in order. So you're actually, I tell people your resume is a black and white version of you until they meet you in person. So somebody should be able to pick up your resume and be like, wow, okay, I can kind of see the stages of life of this individual right now. And then they meet you and they're like, I can see that flow. So your resume needs to be able to flow that same way.
So with AI now and everyone using AI tools, do you think people should be rewriting their resume for every job? Or do you take AI and help refurbish your resume for just the mainstay of what you want to do? I mean, I
I
have.
think I think it all depends on the position because some of the roles that we have, the roles are very specific in what they're looking
Mm,
for. So the resumes that you're going to get, most of those resumes are going to be really close to the role that you're looking for. There, on occasion, you will have, let's say, a SVP role, and a person that is a senior director at another company sees that SVP role. They don't have SVP on the resume, but their duties and everything still coincide with what a SVP role would be. That's when you go in and you take your skill, then you can drop it in Chat GPT or Copilot and enhance your resume. Or I won't even say enhance. Yeah, I would say
right.
tailor the resume. So the resume now is taking your skills, and that's again using the technology the right way. Use the
Mhm.
technology where it pulls out the stuff that you have and makes it more appealing to your audience when they look at it.
Because I think the reality in that example, the reality is let's say if that was a senior director role that they were
Hmm.
currently and they were going for a senior SVP role,
Hmm.
depending on the size and scale of the opportunity and the organization, those two people could be doing the same
They could be doing
work.
the same thing. Yeah.
Same thing.
And a lot of funny enough, a lot of hiring managers get stuck on somebody's title. So
Mhm.
if I send Alicia a resume and her position is a senior SVP, but I send her somebody's resume, and Fern's resume has senior managing director, it's the same thing, but the title is different. And I think it's getting people used to don't just look at the title, let's look at what you did.
Mhm. It's I agree. Couldn't agree more. You have to have a conversation about the work
Yes.
and what is their scope, span of control, accountability, and what were they doing versus their team. So
Hmm.
I think but to your point, if you have such a dense resume, right, then I'm not even reading it, right? And you're moving on.
Yep.
So you've got to make sure it's punchy enough, right? And tells enough of a story that says, I want to lean in to know a little bit more about Kenny, right? And
Yep.
then
I'm
transfer.
interested. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. So is AI changing the staffing industry?
Yes and no. Um, and I would say yes and no because yes in a good way. Um, no because you still need recruiters, you still need salespeople. Um, I think it is enhanced, and I think we're gonna have to embrace it. And because it is a technology, I think people just need to know how to use the technology the right way. And let's say if you're using anything with an AI, it can give you everything that you need, but you need to know how to put the information in to get the information back out that you want. You can't just say, write this for me. Write what? What do you want me to write? So I think learning that and learning how to incorporate, I think the two now, because that's the way of the new world right now. I mean, you have to keep up, and keeping up, you got to keep yourself marketable, and you have to get on top of your A game when it comes to technology, and use the technology where it's going to work for you, not against you.
Kenny, I have to ask you about your entrepreneurship journey. I just very briefly, I want to ask you, um, now entrepreneurship is hot. Like
Hmm.
everybody want to be entrepreneur.
Hmm.
And when I went into entrepreneurship, it was not the going thing of the market.
Yep.
Oftentimes I wouldn't even tell people what I did because of the fact that they just kind of looked at me with a glare
Hmm.
if I said, "Oh, we have our own business." The facial expressions told me a lot.
Yep.
And so now, since entrepreneurship is really kind of, every young person that I'm talking to now, ultimately that's where they want to get. They want to be a entrepreneur.
Hmm.
So how would, and this, the reason why I'm asking this question is because it's now such a common um, profession, being an
Hmm.
entrepreneur. What would you say? How does a person know that they're ready to go into entrepreneurship?
You're never going to be ready. I think now it's a, for lack of a better word, I'm just going to call it what I think it is. I think it's a fad, and meaning where social media and influencers have made so much money from being a influencer or being on social media and doing all these different things, and that technically is considered entrepreneurship, right? And but you can't just say, okay, well, I'm automatically going to think of this idea and then I'm gonna start making all this money. No, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into it. And I think people have to understand at any age when you get into it, it's not going to be anything that's overnight. It's going to have to be a process, and you're going to have days that's going to go real good. And you're going to have days like, why did I even think about even doing this? There's going to be days that you doubt yourself. But I think again, it goes back to having the right people around you. So when you have those days, you can be lifted back up. I mean, because it's easy to say you can pay the money and get your LLC. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, well, what do you do though? You have an LLC and a tax ID number, but what do you do?
Mhm. I'll add to that. I think the social media has developed instant entrepreneurs who
Hmm.
don't understand, they don't know the ass from their elbow at how to run a business
Yeah,
or even
it's a
how to
lot of
build
grit that goes into it. It's a lot of
relationships,
grit.
right? And so now they have this social media presence and influence, right? But then basic business skills are not there or
They're not
lacking.
there.
So, and I'm not sure, maybe you know, Alicia, or I don't know, is there, for the social media folks, is there a course that teaches you? So now you're an entrepreneur. So now what, right?
Right.
Because it's not just about creating great content. It's now effectively running a business
Mhm.
and knowing how to talk with Kenny Claytor or an Alicia Mackay or a Fern Johnson or a TV news outlet or a company or a magazine or a small business. And they don't necessarily have those skills, but they're phenomenal content creator and social. And I don't know. I
I
think,
think,
mhm.
yeah, go ahead, Vern. You know,
No,
with
this is near to my heart because now that I've stepped into this entrepreneur space,
Hmm.
finding the team and finding your people that can work with you that understand business,
Right.
that's oof.
because there's two different aspects of entrepreneurship: is being the artist, and then it's being the business owner.
Operator.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so and a lot of people don't understand that. And I think what social media has done is social media has brought what is called instant gratification, because everything is driven by marketing and sales. The
Right.
core of
Exactly.
any
Yep.
business is marketing and sales, and so Instagram, all the social media platforms has really given everyone the advantage to be able to market on their own. I think with TikTok coming out with these new terms of agreement, they are it's gonna level out and kind of crush the playing field when it comes to being able to monetize, because TikTok has
Hmm.
now said that we can now use your likeness, your image, your everything,
Yep.
and you're not going to get paid for it. And we can use it anytime. So basically, they've taken away what they've done in so many terms is they've taken away the ability to monetize.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't really have any thoughts as far as TikTok taking that stand. But the challenge that I have is it going to have like a ripple effect? So now, Kenny, when you say it's a fad for real, because now
Mm-hmm.
all the monetization is going to go away
Right.
from
And it's like,
social
what are you going
media,
to do
and
now?
TikTok is taking away.
And again, it goes back to what you said too, Fern. If all these people that are doing uh, TikTok, social media things, or influencers, let's say all that goes away, and it's easy to put stuff on social media because you're not really having a conversation with anybody.
Right.
What are you going to do when you have to interact with somebody? You know, if you need to talk to
Unless you coach.
somebody that's, yeah, and just have a conversation, can you walk up to a random person? And my wife will tell you this all the time. We'll go out and I have a random conversation, and she'll say, "Dick, do you know who was that?" I'm like, I don't know. To start you and just start talking. And she's like, only my husband can go into a restaurant and have a full conversation and like you know the person, like y'all best friends. I mean, but you have to be able to talk. And I do that too, again, because I want to know my surroundings. And when I want to know who's around me, what's going on. So I start talking and asking questions.
You
But
do a
if
recon. You go into the restaurant, do a recon, like,
I'm
okay,
doing a straight up recon when I go in the Ralph yeah, especially doing, yeah, yeah, exactly. And
you
but when
look
you
at
think about sales,
where's
though,
the exit? Who's crazy up in here? Who
right?
do I, who am I?
But
You
first,
over here.
but think, Alicia, you know this. I'm pretty sure you get those emails and those phone calls, those cold calls. You you gotta be able to do those recons because even in sales, it's the same thing. You know, you do the same thing. Fern, I can talk to Fern, and Fern may be a buying customer, but Alicia may not buy from me until Fern says, "Hey, Kenny's cool to buy from." You had me going to your junk email until Fern told you Kenny was okay to talk to.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, it's true. It happens whether it happens very either instinctively or very calculated,
yeah.
regardless of what business you're in. So, Kenny, how did you tie in your IT skills with the entrepreneurship? How did your IT skills come in handy when it came to entrepreneurship?
I think with that, again, I have a great team, i.e., my wife behind me when it comes to that. So a lot of times I'll bounce ideas off of her. So even for some of the content that I've put together that you see me post on LinkedIn or different platforms, IT skills that I've picked up over the years help me create that content. It actually helps me when I use AI to help me create a theme or create episodes. If you don't have an idea of how to go in there and tell it what to create, you have to prompt it and you have to know what to put in there for it to kick out the right information for you. So between that and then I think even let's say Canva or even PowerPoint, for example, the things that you use in IT, they're transferable all the way over, even to something that you're doing on your own. If you're doing a pivot table for work, okay, you have to do a pivot table if you have your own business. So the skill should be you should everything that you do, and this goes back to military training. Everything that you learn in the military is a transferable skill in corporate America. And people like to bounce back at me and like, well, but y'all shoot weapons. Okay, but remove the shooting of the weapons. Remove that part. Remove the rank structure. Let's talk about the rank structure, the hierarchy. You don't have to like the person. We were taught to, hey, if you don't like them, respect the rank.
Respect. That's right.
Corporate America doesn't do that.
Uh-uh.
They don't do that. So I think that the core values that you learn from that are transferable in any field.
Even shooting a gun, the precision, it has to be
Yeah.
on.
I mean, yeah, and most people, and funny enough, most people think shooting a gun is just pulling that trigger. No, it's about breathing.
Mm-mm.
You know, it's about breathing. You know, and most people, you see the average person that hasn't shot before, they close that non-firing eye. I'm like, no, you're supposed to shoot with both eyes open.
Yes, it's a lot of skills that
It's
go
it's a,
along
it's a,
with
it's a
that.
lot
Yeah.
to go, and it's a lot of math that goes into it too.
Y'all have convinced me to start taking some lessons.
I got you.
Uh,
I got you.
and so I think I have some friends who could help me. So I can
Fern,
If
we
help.
can go to the shooting range.
Right.
if Sophia can shoot, I can teach you to shoot.
No, we have clients that shoot a lot, and they are like serious shooters,
Mhm.
serious. And I have joined them a couple times
But that's
on.
only in Texas where you have clients that go shooting. Only in Texas.
But look,
Only in Texas.
but you're right, only in Texas, because some of these
Yeah.
nonprofits, Big Brothers Big Sisters, has the clay shoot, the annual clay
Yeah.
shoot event,
Yeah.
right?
They
Where
sure
all
do.
they're doing is going shooting. When I first moved there, I'm like, what in the world is this? New York. If you have a gun in New York, you're going to jail. So
Yeah. Same thing
this
with
whole
DC. Same thing with
overcast thing is
DC.
just here for me. And not new since I've been here for almost 20 years. But yeah, I didn't grow up with guns being a part of your environment on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, it's very much so in Texas.
They were all around. Grandmothers, everybody.
Yeah, I can't. Did you grow up with guns in your household, Alicia?
Yeah, my dad should taught me how to shoot. It was
Mhm.
pretty like just straight up 12. I was 12. And we
12.
yeah,
Yep.
my daughter, we've taught her how to shoot. She's 10. And
My
so
no,
she's
my
already
son just
got-
left, so I can say this. He's not here. But my girl, actually my oldest, shoots better than my son.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I give him credit though. He can shoot a rifle. He can shoot a rifle. Yeah, but the
Yeah.
pistol thing,
Yeah.
she can. Yeah, my youngest is not. Nah, she is not into. She's like her mother. If she really had to use it, she would. But she is not. She's not gun friendly at all.
Well, this conversation went so quick. I'm like, where did the time go? I'm sitting here looking at the clock, like, holy moly. So, Kenny, I think I'm gonna call this Kenny Part 1. We're gonna have
Okay.
Kenny Part 2 with you and Sophie coming on because
Okay.
you only referenced her 10 times, girls,
Yeah, that,
man. So,
that,
girl,
that
she got
that's
your
my
back. He got your back. Like,
that's my
that's his ride or
heartstring.
die. So,
That is.
um,
It
right.
is.
So,
Alicia, if I tell you
we're
some of
gonna.
the story, look, that woman, true definition of ride or die and being equally yoked.
I love it. I love
Oh,
it.
I do too. I can't wait to meet Sophie. Come on,
That,
Part
Sophie.
2. Come on, Sophie. We're calling for you, Sophie girl. You're on
look,
Part 2.
we gonna
Girl,
get her.
All right, so we're going into our lightning round.
Okay, let's
I
go.
got
Let's
5
go.
questions for you. Don't think too hard. Just flow with
Just
it.
go
Okay,
with. Just go with it. Okay.
let's go. Okay, so we know that you're a Commanders fan. You told us that you hail from DC, Washington.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the Washington Commanders happens to be your team. We happen to be taping this right on the eve of the Super Bowl. So is it Patriots? Is it Seahawks? Or is it good commercials?
Patriots.
Well, okay, Patriots.
Mhm.
All right. Fishing or shooting at the gun range? I
Really?
know.
I wouldn't really like.
It's too easy. Too easy. Okay. What's your favorite AI tool that you use on a daily basis?
ChatGPT.
Okay, ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Claude's been my
5.2.
boyfriend.
5.2.
Say
The
again?
new 5.2. The new version.
I know. Hey, Claude's been my boyfriend, but ChatGPT is coming up strong. So I don't know. I think I'm no longer exclusive.
So silly.
What's your favorite place to go on vacation?
First thing it goes.
TNC. I love Turks. Okay, this is the question that if you don't get it right, we're gonna
Oh,
rewind the tape and do it over.
yeah, we got to get first take. First take.
First take. So Alicia, Sophie is Jamaican, so that's her heritage. So is it peas and rice or rice and peas?
Rice and peas, man.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So where can we find you? Where can folks find you? Outside of LinkedIn, it sounds like you've got a couple other platforms that people can find. Kenny's Claytor.
Yeah, they
Kenny
have. I'm on
Claytor.
LinkedIn by my full name, my full government name, Kenneth Claytor. And then you can find me on Instagram, and then you can make me think. My Instagram is Kenny. I think it's Kenny Claytor. Yep, it's my name. And my TikTok is 2. It's Claytor Chronicles, and the other one is Certified Hubs with a Z.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. Well, Alicia, you want to close us out? Because I'm now over time, and we got to keep everyone back on track.
Yes, absolutely. So we would like to thank our audience for joining us for another episode of Two Lit Chicks with our special guest, Kenny Claytor, all the way
Thank
from
y'all.
Kenny's Corner, and sidekick Sophie. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So we appreciate y'all tuning in. And once again, we will see you for another fantastic episode. Stay lit.
Stay lit, stay lit, stay lit. Peace out, peace out, peace out. Thank you for joining us today. Listen, like, subscribe at Two Lit Chicks Podcast.
Remember, stay curious, stay bold, and always stay lit.
Woo, woo.